They didn't tell you this part, but I will. See, they didn't tell you that healing would feel like grieving an old version of yourself that you once loved. They didn't tell you that some days you will wake up with absolutely no motivation, no light, no fire, just cold, empty, unrecognizable version of you staring back in that mirror, just looking. See, they didn't tell you that healing will make you isolate yourself. Not because you actually want to, but because you feel like no one understands what the hell is going on inside of you. Shoot, you don't even understand half the time. They didn't tell you how lonely this gets. How you'll start praying and asking God to just make this pain stop. Please, God. And some days it won't, not right away. See, they didn't tell you that you start questioning your faith. Not because you don't believe, but because it's hard to lean on something that you can't see when everything around you is falling apart. See, when you've been crying for days and it feels like God is silent, they didn't tell you about that. They didn't tell you that healing would feel like punishment. Like you're being dragged through the mud while everybody else is just out there smiling. While they're out there posting, they're laughing and moving on. They didn't tell you how some nights you cry so hard you choke on your own tears. And you start to ask yourself, like what's wrong with me? See, they didn't tell you that you'd actually lose people. Not just friends, not just relationships, but versions of yourself too. Childhood dreams, innocence, illusions, hope. You start to realize that healing isn't just about getting better. It's about breaking down. It's about unlearning everything you thought was love. It's about sitting in silence long enough to hear the parts of you that you used to drown out with a whole bunch of noise, with distractions, with people who never really loved you. See, they didn't tell you that healing would be forgiving people who never said sorry. They didn't tell you it would be forgiving yourself for all the times you let yourself down too. They didn't tell you about that. All the times you stayed too long, all the times you begged for bare minimum and called it love. They didn't tell you about that. They didn't tell you that healing will make you feel angry sometimes. That you start like resenting people, resenting your own choices, resenting the world for making you feel like you're always too much or even not enough. They didn't tell you that healing is slow. It doesn't come with a playlist or a prayer or a self-care Sunday. It's relapsing into sadness and dragging yourself back out again. That's what healing is about. It's showing up for work with a smile while you're dying on the inside. That is what's healing about. It's making content when you feel like quitting on everything. It's raising kids while trying to reparent yourself. That's what's healing about. It's feeling like a fraud because the same stuff you preach is the same stuff you're struggling to live by. See, they didn't tell you that healing can make you feel like a lie. That sometimes even after all the journaling, all the therapy, the crying, the praying, the detoxing and blocking, you still miss the person that hurt you. You still crave the dysfunction because at least it felt familiar. See, they didn't tell you that healing would feel like starting your life from scratch. A new mindset, new boundaries, new standards, new loneliness. They didn't tell you about that. See, they didn't tell you that healing will make you grieve people who are still alive. And it's the weirdest kind of grief too, because they're out there. They're living. They're laughing, and you're in the bed wondering if you were ever really, really, truly loved, or were you just tolerated? They didn't tell you that healing isn't cute. It's not aesthetic. It's ugly. It's raw. It's messy. It's reliving old memories that your mind buried to protect you, and you finally feel safe enough to remember, and it floods all back in like a tidal wave, and you don't even know what to do with it all. That's what healing looks like. They didn't tell you that healing is spiritual warfare, that the closer that you get to peace, the louder the enemy gets. And it's like every time you try to walk into freedom, something comes and pulls you right back in. your ex text, your triggers resurface, your body starts aching for the comfort of your old chaos. You know what I mean. See, they didn't tell you how exhausting healing is. How you'll feel like you're falling behind because while you're healing, the world just keeps on moving. It's not stopping. People keep on winning. And you're still just trying to make it through a Tuesday without crying in that shower. I know the feeling. They didn't tell you that sometimes sometimes healing makes you want to give up on everything. Not because you're weak, but because you're tired. And that's the part that people don't talk about, see? They want you to be strong, to be a warrior, to keep going. But what if I told you that you don't always have to be strong? What if I told you that it's okay to break down, to feel it all, to scream, to cry, to ask God questions, to be disappointed sometimes? That's okay. To be confused, because healing isn't linear. It's not a staircase. It's a storm. And some days it will knock you back out with the wind. And you'll crawl, but even crawling is progress. And if you're still breathing, if you're still here, even after everything that you've been through, even after the heartbreaks, oh my gosh, the heartbreaks, the mental breakdowns, the anxiety, the losses, the depression, the nights you didn't think that you would survive, you are proof that healing is actually working, even when it doesn't feel like it, because you didn't give up. And that matters. You matter. Your story is still being written. And maybe that part that broke you is the part that is going to build you into somebody you've never met before. Somebody stronger. Somebody that's 10 times softer, wiser, and more real than you ever been. And no, they didn't tell you that part. But I will, because you deserve to know you're not crazy for hurting this much. You are just healing, and healing hurts. But healing also sets you free. You know, I really was inspired to make this video today, because today, you know, I ain't gonna lie, man, I was in my feelings. You know, I was looking at this picture on my phone, this old picture of me. This old picture of me. And I remember how happy, you know, I was kind of young, but I can imagine, you know, I was at my happiest, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, sometimes I be wondering, like, man, damn, bro, did I let you down? You know what I'm saying? Man, just like the decisions that I made in my life, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, that little dude, you know what I'm saying? That little dude was he was a happy one. You know, he had dreams. The younger me, at least, you know, he had dreams. I thought I would be at this place, you know. I was living carefree, you know. And then I start self-sabotaging, man. Like, man, I done made so many mistakes. I just let you down, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I know I'm not supposed to really be thinking like that, because there's a lot of good things that I've done too. And I gotta tell myself that too. But, you know, today's just one of them days, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But sure, we all go through it, man. But it's what healing is all about. It's what healing is all about, man. I ain't got much to say today, man. Till next time. Peace.